In tonight's training, I'm going to be teaching on co-authors. A lot of people are co-authoring, and I want to teach you on co-authoring's questions every co-author or collaborator wish they had asked in advance. Okay, so that's what this training is all about. I want to welcome you all. Come right on in, and we're going to get started. We're talking about co-authoring. Okay, anybody ever co-authored a book out there? Anybody ever co-authored a book out there? And if you've co-authored a book out there, I want to help you. Hello, all of my friends over in the Write Your Worth community, all of you over here on Periscope. I want to invite you to share this post. Your friends will thank you for it later. They'll say, you know, I remember you sharing that post of that guy, said he's a bookologist. He helped you write a book, build a brand, and grow a business. And if you're looking to do that, we're going to help you in tonight's training. Okay? Are y'all ready to get started? Ready to get started? If you're ready to get started, put ready in the chat box. Can I get somebody to say ready in the chat box? And I want to give you questions. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just say 10 questions every co-author should ask before you sign the deal. 10 questions, okay? Can I get a ready in the chat box? Go ahead and put it in the chat box. Ready on Periscope, ready on Facebook, ready on LinkedIn, ready in Write Your Worth, ready on the Bookology page, ready, ready, ready. Question number 1. You must be clear on the details, okay? The details. You got to make sure that you are clear on the details of the agreement. That's point number 1. Number 2, you want to be clear on the billing. You know, how are you going to be billed for whatever expenses that occur in the collaboration? Collaboration is when 2 or more people write a book together. That's considered a collaboration project. And when 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 people begin to write a book together, they all are become joint owners of that creative work. Okay, and what has to happen is that an agreement has to be worked out between all of those parties in order for them to have a harmonious working relationship. Number 1, you want to get clear on the details. Number 2, hello on Periscope, you want to get clear on the billing. Who's going to pay what and how that's going to be paid. Number 3, you want to get clear on the schedule. You want to ask questions. What's the schedule going to be like? You know, what happens if I meet a deadline? If I miss a deadline? What happens if a co-author misses a deadline? How is that going to be handled? How is that going to be solved? I'm talking about questions every co-author wish they had asked, okay? The next point is copyright. Who's going to own the copyright? Who's going to control the copyright? Who's going to be the person who is owner of the copyright? That has to be answered. If you got 12 people in a group, you're going to need to know the answer to that. The next point, number 5, you're going to need to know who are the decision makers. Who are the decision makers? Let's just say somebody says, I like this collaboration and I want to buy all of you all out. And who's going to decide who's buying who out? How will that work? That's very important, and that's a question you're going to have to ask if you are going to collaborate with somebody. You see, partnering with people, you better make sure you got all the deals and all the details ironed out, okay? Decision making is going to be very, very important. The next thing you're going to want to think about, these are questions that every co-author want to ask, and that is, how will disputes be handled? Did you hear what I said? They will come up. Don't foolaboo yourself. Disputes will come up. And when they come up, then you need to settle it on, you need to have a plan already in place as for how they are going to be settled, okay? Number 7, if you're doing a collaboration, co-authorship, and it's more than 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, then you want to know, how will this work be divided? How will the production of the work be provided? Who will own that work? And how will that play out? All of those details must be ironed out, my friend, when you are going to be doing a collaboration agreement. Now, the next thing you want to think about, okay? All right, the next thing you want to think about is here's the next thing. How are expenses going to be handled? You see, how many of you believe that old adage, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure? Some of these things, if you prevent them going in, it's a whole lot better than trying to cure them later on. You follow what I'm saying? Very, very important. Okay. Very, very important. So you need to know how the expenses are going to be handled. Another thing you want to know about is how will future books be handled? If you collaborate with somebody, are you obligated to do your next book as a collaboration agreement? Are you free to do that work on your own? How will the other books be handled? Okay, future books, how will that be handled? Okay, now, can I give you another point that's really, hi, all of my friends over on my Bookology page. Good to see you. Thank you all for coming in. Another point that you want to think about is how will the income be handled? You see, I'm talking to somebody who signed a collaboration agreement. You paid money up front and you thought the situation was going to turn out a certain way. And what you did was bought yourself a great lesson. Hello, somebody. You bought yourself a great lesson. And now you're trying to figure out, how do I recoup my work? What am I going to do about going forward? Can I trust these people? I don't know if I trust the people that I paid the money to do the work for me. Now you're just in a pickle. And you're like, what in the world do I do now? How do I do this? What am I going to do? Okay. All of this needs to be ironed out up front. Collaborations are great when it all works out. But when one or two people don't do the part that they're supposed to do, then you got a great headache. Are you listening to me? You got a great headache. Okay. Now, okay, income. We talked about income, but let's talk about something else. How about management of the money? Let's just say you're in a collaboration agreement and it turns out to be a big money maker. How are you going to manage the money? Who's going to manage the money? Who's going to have ability to sign on the bank account? All of these, my friends, are questions that you want to ask when you're doing a collaboration agreement, when you're doing a co-authorship. You want to talk about money management, okay? All right? So you want me to recap these? You want to talk about money management? You want to talk about income? You want to talk about other books? You want to ask questions about, what if somebody fails to perform? If you're in a collaboration agreement right now, you need to have it spelled out. What if one member, two members, or three members in the community fail to perform? They don't do their part. They don't do what they're supposed to do. And that's going to affect you. Now, what's going to happen with that deal? Okay. The next thing you want to talk about is expenses, how that's going to be handled, the division of the work. What are you going to do about disputes? How are they going to be handled? What about decision making? Who's going to make all the decisions? Somebody come and they say, ooh, we like this work. We want to make this book a big screen work. How are you going to handle that? Okay. And then you want to talk about who's going to own the copyright. All of these things are points that you might want to answer concerning a collaboration agreement up front. You want to ask these questions up front. Friends, I hope this live stream serves and supported you. I hope that you can answer some of these questions. And if you're in a collaboration agreement and you want some support or help, or you got questions about something that you're dealing with, feel free to reach out to my team at support@drfredjones.com. We'll be more than glad to serve and support you. I'm Dr. Fred Jones. I want to remind you something. The most expensive thing you will ever pay is attention to the wrong people. Good night.